Oh, hello! I don't know why, but my shirt smells exactly like meat. It smells like old meat. Anyway, uh, I've been alright. Waiting for my hair to grow back. So in the meantime, we got this convenient hat. So, Deathlands, Pilgrimage to Hell is a book by Adrian, but sometimes the author's name is James Axler on the audio versions, and supposedly that's a house name for Christopher Lauder and Lawrence James, R.I.P., who co-wrote these books together. And then I believe Lawrence James, a Brit actually, went on to write 32 more novels in the series, and this is the first one. So I needed a post-apocalyptic adventure novel, and I found this on Reddit and bought it online, and it delivered on exactly what I was looking for, with a surplus or a bonus of another quality I also like. 80s B-movie action that is, ridiculous, but you can't help but take it seriously because, the further you go back in time with most fiction, it seems to be, pull no punches. It's not. This is the sort of thing you wouldn't find in a modern bookstore shelf. Now, that is all. So, while I appreciate it for challenging me in that regard, it is truly a bleak future. I mean, what you got, a little bit of comic bookish exaggerations in the world building, like ridiculous mutations in very little time since the nuclear holocaust, that sort of thing. Truly ridiculous, sadistic people. There's some small plot holes if you look at it too closely, but it's not like hard sci-fi. It's an adventure story with ridiculous amounts of action. So it's bittersweet because while I appreciate it for challenging me in that it's really not a safe experience, it really does live up to its name, Pilgrimage to Hell. There's truly, horrible shit in this in this world. I mean, if you're gonna read a book like Deathlands, Pilgrimage to Hell with a cover like this, what do you expect? It's especially just something from 1986. There's some cool inner art for you on the inside. And the world looks like this. But I love how just that 80s, it's this bizarrely innocent quality to the very slightly cartoonish future scenario in which everyone is like, it's a very westerny, badass, like James Cameron Terminator Aliens vibe to it that I can't quite, you just kind of experience. I'm not really explaining it very well, but the bad side to that is that there are some very unnecessarily guy-centric incel qualities, especially when the author is, describing female characters kind of after the style of like Richard Lehman or so. It's I find it hilarious, but and some like lesser morality men especially would, and also some women would enjoy that sort of shit. But it just comes off to me as very immature and unnecessary and takes me out of the story a bit. And the violence is also like of the variety of Quentin Tarantino. Think like it's ridiculous. Every bullet that strikes the head has to explode. That sort of thing. If you like that sort of thing, if you want a ridiculous romp into the future hellish wasteland, this is like the American Mad Max treatment. It wouldn't really exist without books like, Canticle for Leibowitz or Mad Max, but it does still feel like it does take a few creative liberties in the world building that makes it feel like a very distinctive place. The plot is never doesn't matter. It's really just about pulp. It's about action. There's probably too much action. It's a very, if you like that sort of thing like me, especially action that takes twists and turns, it isn't really safe, but it's kind of conventional. It's just your meat and potatoes go to story. If there's a woman on the face of this earth that genuinely enjoys this novel, I would like to marry her because I don't think I don't think there is. In other words, you've been warned. Now you know it. what to expect. It's a very guilty pleasure if you have a weakness for pulp, and to such a level, and only a setting such as this could provide a level of where the stakes, where everything is life or death. It's very uncompromising. The opening scene is sets the tone perfectly. Bunch of um, cutthroat mercs, making a temporary deal to find a legendary treasure in some canyon guarded by some sentient mist creature that they've heard about. And the whole time, the real problem is the fact that they're all so morally depraved and greedy. The tension rising in the group as you start to realize every single man in the group wants to kill every other man in the group. And then the tension that rises in that first chapter, it sets the tone of just the absolute hellish anarchy and the bleakness in the story that I think is its most original element. The fact that nothing matters, it's all survival, and that, like many good post-apocalyptic stories, like Fallout universe, of which I'm a freakishly huge fan for my whole life, is like it shows the truth about something that we don't want to see, like very much the Road Warrior, if you know what I mean. The Like if we saw the reality of combat between cowboys and Indians in the American Old West, for example, it would be something probably more shameful and dark than we realize. In this book, while the action is relentlessly omnipresent, it doesn't ever seem to really like romanticize the action. There's very scenarios that are just totally unfair, for example. Um, it's about as gory and unnecessarily sexual at parts as things get. But it's while the style of how that unfolds, the realism is questionable. There's never a question that in this particular circumstances humans wouldn't be capable of doing this sort of thing, and that's the sort of thing that interests me as much as it challenges me when I'm being entertained, where I want to feel suspense and adrenaline and the stakes are high. So for that, delivering on its promises, I give it a solid 8 out of 10. It's not extraordinary. It's not inspiring. It's not a plot that you haven't seen before. There's not much of a plot at all. It's literally stripped down to where they're going to find supplies to keep living. So, but that bleakness is ultimately what grounds it in a realism that makes it the world a total free for all, like a repeat of the worst mistakes in history. It's and that just makes it feel like the truth, but it doesn't allow for anything intellectual or mind expanding or inspiring, except to say that characters like the main characters are actually very heroic, and they're some of the only heroic people left in the world that are hoping for some kind of future. And so there's this really relentless toughness, or that sense of inspiration that's very masculine, to push against the lack of meaning by focusing on conventional survival with the hope that in the future there might be a discovery of a greater meaning. It's like pushing forward the cause of humanity and building civilization in the darkness, even when there is no point, because you hope for there to be a point discovered at some point in the future. There's something super heroic and classy and inspiring about that, and I think this book really nails it. So, a unique experience, but probably not going to appeal to people that don't like this type of genre. That's post-apocalyptic, ultra dark pulp adventure. It's like it really does feel like a nightmare into hell. It's a very revolting book. It's very disgusting, sadistic. Um, it's very good. So yeah, 8 out of 10. Definitely recommend. Probably will read Red Holocaust, the sequel, in a few years, but I'm not in a huge rush to continue with this series. It didn't blow me away, but I'm definitely a fan. So